the Scriblerus Club. This was another literary society that came into being in the age of enlightenment. The Scriblerus Club was an informal association of authors based in London that came together in the early 18th century. They were prominent figures in the Augustan age of English letters. The nucleus of the club included the satirists Jonathan Swift and Alexander Pope. Other important members were John Gay, John Arbuthnot, Henry St. John, and Thomas Parnell. The group was founded in 1714 and lasted until the death of the founders, finally ending in 1745. Pope and Swift are the two members whose reputations and works have the most long-lasting influence. Working collaboratively, the group created the persona of Martinus Scriblerus, through whose writings they accomplished their satirical aims. Very little of this material, however, was published until the 1740s. Robert Harley, 1st Earl of Oxford and Mortimer, occasionally joined the club for meetings. Though he is not known to have contributed to their literary output, he was a regular at the club. He, along with Henry St. John, 1st Viscount Bolingbroke, contributed to the literary productions of the club. The club began as an effort to satirize the abuses of learning wherever they might be found, which led to the memoirs of Martinus Scriblerus. The second edition of Pope's The Dunciad also contains works attributed to Martinus Scriblerus. Richard Owen Cambridge wrote a mock epic poem, the Scribleriad, wherein the hero is Martinus Scriblerus. Henry Fielding, another novelist of the age, he wrote a mock epic poem. He wrote the Welsh opera, and that is presented as a tribute to the Scriblerians. Fielding's pen name, incidentally, was Scriblerus Secundus. So he was so influenced by this club, the Scriblerus Club. The writers belonging to this club were well conversant with each other, and they wrote in constant support or against a common cause, be it literary or political. We know how John Arbuthnot and John Gay and Jonathan Swift and Alexander Pope, they all came together in the Dunciad in order to write about the Duke of Monmouth. Now, these writers belonged to the club. They knew each other. They were friends. They had a common purpose, and they wrote in counterpoint and towards direct expansion of the works of each other. And each poetry, they wrote satire when in opposition. In the early part of the century, there was a great struggle over the nature and role of the pastoral, primarily between Ambrose Philips and Alexander Pope, and then between their followers. But such a controversy was only possible because of two simultaneous literary movements, and the general movement carried forward only with struggle between poets was the same as in the novel, the invention of the subjective self as a worthy topic and the emergence of a priority on individual psychology, against the insistence that all acts of art are a performance and a public gesture meant for the benefit of society at large. Beneath that large banner raged individual battles. So there was this emphasis on the individual person as well as the writer's willingness to reinvent genre. So as I talked about how there was always a clash in the 18th century, there were the Augustan writers and then there were the pre-romantics, and they were constantly at clash with each other. And their clash originated not only about structure, but also the content.